Okay, in this video, actually I have a question. If you have a Cavalier and you have lost some transmission fluid, or you just are curious, like I am, I like to keep a check on the fluids in all my cars. Let's say you're just curious as to how much fluid is in your transmission. Okay. You walk up to the car like any other one, and you look. Well, right here is the oil dipstick. Okay, there's the master cylinder. You can check the brake fluid. You can see it through there. You can check the power steering fluid right here. You know, everything is, you know, normal, and then you start thinking, wait a minute, where's the automatic transmission fluid dipstick? Well, it turns out there isn't one. The only thing you're going to find is a cap like this. It's a vent cap for the transmission. That's all you're going to find on this car. In order to check the transmission fluid, which, by the way, the owner's manual says the only time that it's necessary to check the transmission fluid is if there's been fluid loss. Okay, well, that's not actually true. I check the transmission fluid a lot of times to see what color it is, if it's burnt, smells funny, whatever, because that can be an indicator of something going wrong with your transmission. So you need to be able to check your transmission fluid. Okay, in order to check the transmission fluid on this car, you have got to jack it up off the ground, and let me get my little plug to show you. Crawl under it and remove this plug from the transmission. It is back, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Yeah, right in the center there almost. There's a little bitty hole. That's where the plug came from. Oh yeah, and by the way, whenever you take that plug out, always have a little drain pan of some sort. There's not going to be much fluid come out, but fluid will come out of it. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to level your car completely. Of course I didn't, because of course I've got it jacked up. I got a wheel took off. You're supposed to have your car completely level, and that is the only way you're supposed to be able to check this. Whenever fluid runs out of the hole, you've got enough fluid in it. If it doesn't come out of the hole, it's too low. Alright, I'm going to show you how to make a transmission fluid indicator for this car. Now, this plug is, well, here are the things that you will need. You will need one of these little pipe nipples. I think it is 1/8 inch. Let me get this out of the bag here and check for sure. I think that's what it was 1/8 inch. I matched it up. It came in a little thing. Anyway, I think it was a 1/8 inch. Yeah, 1/8 inch. Never focus in. Anyway, it's a 1/8 inch piece of plumbing pipe. These threads are the same as the threads on the plug. It will screw right in. Now, what else you will need? You will need a length of, this is power steering fluid hose. It's 3/8 inch. And I've got about 3 or 4 foot of it, something like that. It should be enough. And ideally it would be good to buy some clear tubing. But see, I don't know if what type of clear tubing is rated for transmission fluid. This is a transmission funnel, so I know this is rated for transmission fluid. It has to be. Also, you're going to need some hose clamps to fit your power steering line, and you're going to need a fuel filter, a little just cheap fuel filter. Doesn't really matter. It is just to prevent dust, moisture, water, anything that could damage your transmission from getting inside of it. Because this is going to be open, exposed. It's going to be facing down, but it's going to be open. So if it was just this tube, if you had a vacuum pulling in on your transmission for some reason, or if dust got up in there, it would just go right into your transmission fluid, and there goes your transmission. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to put these pieces together. Okay, now I have the transmission fluid indicator. It's assembled and it is showing some fluid there. I need to add a little bit because it's still pretty low. Let me add a little bit and I'll show you. I have the funnel set up here. And I'll just add a little fluid. And then, as you can see, the fluid level has come up in the transmission. It'll settle down a little bit. Gotta give it just a minute to settle. Okay, now that is your full level right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a magic marker and I'm going to make a little mark on there. It says full. Okay, what I did, the little nipple that I bought, screwed in to the same spot back there that the plug came out of, and then I cut the transmission line, or power steering line, to the length that would go all the way to here. Actually, if you get clear tubing, you can run it the whole way, but clear tubing is not as robust as that power steering line. Now when it gets up to here, goes into the clear tubing and allows you to check your level. And I've left this out so that you can see what's on the end of it, because it's going to be hidden. It's going to actually go down inside the bumper. There's a lot of room in there. But what you have, the clear tubing comes up back into the black line here and comes up to the fuel filter. Now this will allow air to go in and out, but it won't allow dust or contaminations or water or moisture or anything to get into your transmission, which will destroy it. So this way, all you have to do, as you can see, I've actually let the car down to level. And as you can see, all you have to do is walk around to this side of the car, glance at the clear tube, and you can tell how much transmission fluid's in it. Now I'm going to finish this up by drilling a small hole in there and mounting my filter. But that's about it. And hopefully this video will help somebody to keep from burning up their transmission, because it's easy to not know how much fluid you've got and assume that just because it shifts correctly and it's running good, you assume that you've got fluid in it. That's not necessarily true all the time. Always make sure you put your cap back on. You just want it finger tight. You don't want to crank down on it. It goes, you're not going to be able to see that. It goes right there. And that's pretty much my explanation for that little project. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching.